both of these teams primarily run that Windwalker DK Paladin composition. Party of Models, of course, has that Feral Druid available as well, so they can always run that Feral Druid Death Knight Paladin, and of course SG White bringing in Zevs this time to play that Warlock if they need it. But I think it's very likely we're going to see a Windwalker DK Paladin mirror match coming out from the...
I'm not actually sure entirely how much different that makes it, how much difference that makes here for Party of Models. It'll give them the Cyclone, which is really, really nice. And it'll also give them a little bit more of that insane burst potential from the Feral Druid. But we'll have to see how this ends up working out for him.
Yeah, Paz is in stealth right now. We're going to have to see who he decides to open up onto. Balance immediately pushing in, wants to get started onto Helio, not really forcing anything with that initial Fist of Fury. Paz and Nuts immediately onto Kappa. Helio getting stranged, uses that Aura Mastery, immediately gets stunned on it as well. So Bop, Avenging Wrath coming out from Helio, already using a lot of defensive cooldown. Paz getting hodged up, gets dispelled out of that. Kappa doing an excellent job kiting around right there, using his Avenging Wrath. So right now I think Kappa is a little bit ahead in this sort of train the Paladin mirror match.
Yeah.
He had to use Avenging Wrath about 10 seconds later, so he's going to have that available. Pause, though, using that Incarnation, a devastating cooldown. Kappa might have to use his bubble here, but he saves the execution sentence, able to top himself off using that last little bit of wings, and he's still doing such an excellent job kiting around. Unfortunately for him, though, Incarnation and Berserk still up for quite some time for Pause, but it looks like Kappa is able to get away, and he's going to be okay for the time being.
Yeah, Balance actually got a really nice paralysis out onto Pause there, which was just gave Kappa a little bit of space to be able to move away. Now he's caught into this bash, might have to use his bubble. In fact, he will go ahead and use his Divine Shield, so nice job there. But Helio takes a big chunk of damage out of nowhere as well, also forced to use his bubble. Both Paladins very, very even on cooldowns right now. Really the only saving grace going for either of them right now is that Helio has his Trinket available still. That's about it. They both have one Blessing of Protection available. Balance now just getting kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere there, not really able to connect, but as soon as he does, big chunks of damage back onto Helio once again, and Helio just has nothing to deal with it.
Both Paladins actually going down, so a bit of a cross kill. Nuts using that Icebound Fortitude to break that stun. Balance and Jeff going to be looking to connect onto Nuts. Pause does have his Trinket as well as both Survival Instinct, so I do not think he's an ideal target. I think Party of Models, just based on cooldowns right now, has a little bit of an advantage. Nuts is going to have to do a good job keeping himself up for the time being. The DR leg sweep coming up. Nuts into the Strangulate, taking so much damage from Balance and Jeff, somehow surviving with his self-healing. That looks like he is going to go down. I don't think Pause is going to be able to take down Jeff. Balance does have that healing to help him out. The Fist of Fury stun coming out on him, but Pause does have those Survival Instinct ticks. Like we were saying, Jeff does have that Icebound Fortitude up. He does have a significant amount of self-healing as well. Balance just putting that in cap on him. He's going to be surging, misting Jeff, and I think it's going to be too little too late for Pause. He's not going to be able to take it down, and in sort of a surprise fashion. I mean, this actually, to be honest with you, it's not that surprising. This happens a lot in this matchup, especially when both teams decide to just go all in on the Paladin.
Here underway on Tolvaran Arena, it's going to be SG White up 1-0 versus Party of Models. Of course, this is a lower bracket game, so whoever loses this series will be eliminated. Whoever wins, congratulations, now you have to fight Splice.
And honestly, I think whichever one of these teams wins this matchup is going to actually have a decent time against Splice. I don't think Splice is in the position where they're feeling like super confident, because SG White and Party of Models both run Windwalker DK Paladin, which is exceptionally hard for them. So I'm sure they're waiting in anticipation to see which one of these teams they're going to have to fight next. But it looks like this game is going to start. Balance sort of pushing out into the middle of the map. Pause looks like he's getting in a position to open up onto Kappa, sitting in that stealth right now with his dash up. And it looks like no one really wants to pull the trigger yet. Both Death Knights sort of just attacking each other. Kappa spamming out those heals onto himself, and the reason he does that is because he gets to, the percentage of his healing goes out onto shields. It looks like Kappa does get gripped into that Hodge immediately. Helio also taking a lot of damage. It looks like Balance is deciding to use that Storm Earth and Fire. He's going to be peeling Paws and Nuts as much as possible. Kappa actually getting strangulated there as well as into that DR bash, but he hasn't used any defensive cooldowns whatsoever yet. Save of the Light is going to proc as well as his Avenging Wrath is going to be used. Helio still hasn't used a single defensive cooldown. He's finally into that Hodge. Storm Earth and Fire is up. Balance looks like he is going to be attacking Pause right now. Pause has no trinket, so each stun that is put onto him by Balance is going to sit full.
Yeah, and so what we're seeing now with Balance using that Storm, Earth, and Fire is that both Pause and Helio are under a lot of pressure, and it's just kind of difficult for Helio to actually deal with.
Helio actually gets locked
big
out.
Chunk there.
Unbelievable. I think he got locked out, and it bursted down just enough so that Soul Reaper ticked on him. It was just like such a fortunate series of events that came out of SG White to take down Helio there. But yeah,
that wasn't like, even though it was a very, very strong win there for SG White, it wasn't really an expected win, I don't think.
Yeah,
Like, it was kind of one of those, maybe we can just kill him here with the Soul Reaper. Oh, it actually worked. Hooray, congratulations. So I wouldn't count Party of Models out just yet. But both teams, once again, just sort of hanging back for the moment. Jeff and Nuts, once again, just sort of trading blows out in the open there. Nuts now moving away, actually using his Desecrated Ground in order to get away. That's an interesting choice. Now both Death Knights have Pillar of Frost active, just trying to channel as much damage as possible. It looks like Nuts still the target of choice for the time being at the very least. Kappa, though, taking lots of pressure, down super low, forced to use his Avenging Wrath and his Execution Sentence to heal himself back up. So he's going to be fine for now. Now they're turning the pressure back around onto Helio, caught in that full Fist of Justice. Now the Strangulate as well. He's got that Saved by the Light active. It's going to keep him alive long enough to get out his own Avenging Wrath. No Execution Sentence from him, though, so he is still going to have that available should he need it.
This is going to be a similar strategy like we saw at Game 1. Balance is deciding to use his images, throws out that Fist of Fury Stone onto Nuts and Paws. Both of them trinketed immediately. So now, every single time Balance gets out a Fist of Fury Stone on them, they're going to have to sit that full. Helio does have one bop left. Kappa actually taking a lot of damage. He might actually have to go into his bubble right now. Has no Sable the Light available. Actually on Forbearance still, spamming out those heals. Balance doing an excellent job healing there. So Kappa can actually get away and get some healing on himself. But it looks like we may have a technical issue.
I believe
have to see what goes on.
Yeah, I believe Jeff hasn't moved in a little while here, so good on Party of Models to hold back and just be a little bit sportsmanlike here and say, all right, we recognize that now you're in a bad situation. Nuts sort of keeping Kappa honest, I guess, over there, just occasionally putting a couple
top
hits
yourself
in.
off.
Yeah, exactly. So Kappa is still taking a little bit of pressure, but obviously Party of Models holding back, saying, all right, sorry you got disconnected or whatever happened to Jeff at this point. Now, though, it looks like they've had enough. They're actually going to move in, start pumping damage back into Kappa once again, maybe just trying to keep the pressure going, but not sure exactly.
Yeah, Jeff's still disconnected. I think that Party of Models just wants to pull the trigger. They want to try to, I don't know, they want to play out this game. There's no reason they have to wait. It's not it's not on them.
Yeah, it's completely fine. If they decide they want to close it out here, then the problem is that Black Jeff got disconnected, and he's actually now left the arena, so he's been disconnected
at that point it was actually irrelevant. Even if Party of Models decided, hey, we're just going to wait entirely, the SG White was still going to lose this game because of Jeff disconnecting there. So, Party of Models is going to win that game. Still in it. One game away from elimination. SG White, of course, once they get all their stuff figured out, they are just one game away from advancing. And this is a lower bracket game, so the team that loses this game is actually just eliminated. No regionals, no BlizzCon, so a lot on the line, of course.
Yep. And I guess just to go back and explain a little bit more exactly what
I think it's a really smart choice.
Yep. So we will see how well it works out for him here. Obviously, not a great situation for SG White to find themselves in, but we'll see if they can make the best out of a bad situation. The gates have now opened. Balance actually just charging straight in here. And deciding maybe to think better of it, he's going to pull back over here, hang out with his Warlock a little bit longer. And they're starting to try to put some pressure out. Kappa immediately gets caught into that Fist of Justice after that Death Grip comes out from Nuts. They're trying to put some counter pressure into Nuts as well at this point. Helio did get caught into that full Fist of Justice now after that Fear. Paw is now taking lots of damage too. Zev's actually able to put out a ton of damage with his Dark Soul active, and it's proving to be quite a bit for Party of Models to actually deal with. Nuts down at 16% health. Kappa forced to use the Avenging Wrath as well as the Execution Sentence. Avenging Wrath on himself just to put some self-heals out, but the Execution Sentence on Nuts to keep him aggressive. And SG White is actually doing pretty well right now. Yeah,
Paws and Nuts still have their trinkets available if they need it. Paws, of course, has that Survival Instinct stacked as well. Kappa is going to be slowly whittled down. Paws, of course, using that Incarnation. He actually saved his Berserk, so he's staggering his cooldowns a little bit right now until he can actually connect onto Kappa. Kappa doing an excellent job of actually kiting. Now Paws finally able to connect on him. War Master is coming out from Kappa, though, spamming out those heals. He actually gets DR stunned on that War Mastery, Word of Glory. So he didn't actually get too much value out of that. The full Hodge onto Helio. Looks like Paws and Nuts going to be taking a little bit of damage. But Kappa down to 10% HP. Sable the Light has already procced. He's going to be coming up here soon, but he's had to use that Divine Protection. He's going to spam out some heals on himself, and he is able to top. But this is sort of an unrelenting assault coming out from Paws and Nuts. But Paws actually dipping dangerously low as well, down to around 40% HP. Helio has no more defensive cooldowns. Caught into that triple DR Fear. The Hell of Terror actually coming out as well. The next CC chain onto Helio. If they can get a Hodge into Incap into Fear onto Helio when the diminishing returns are up onto him, Paz could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the big question is, can Kappa survive through the damage from Paz and Nuts right now? A nice stun goes out onto Paz, but Kappa's still taking lots of pressure. Paz now, once again, under lots of pressure himself right now. Zev's just keeping that pressure going onto him, and it's actually working out really, really well for him. Paz has to pull back, and that's helping keep Kappa alive at this point. Paz now down to 20% health. Helio getting caught into fear after fear from Zevs, now into the full paralysis. If they're able to connect onto Paz, this could be the end right here.
But Kappa's so low as well, down to 10% HP, bops himself, it actually gets purged. Nuts MVP there. Paz dipping dangerously low though as well, down to around 10% HP. It looks like Helio is able to spam out those heals. Nuts did such an excellent job there. He was just spamming the chains of ice onto Balance over and over and over. And because of that, Balance could not connect onto Paz, but it doesn't look like it's completely over yet. It's pretty much over. Yeah, it's over. But yeah, despite a well-played game by SG White, Nuts doing such an incredible job there, playing defensively as well as getting down Kappa pretty much entirely by himself. So yeah, I mean that's going to tie the series up 2-2.
Yeah, and this is a really kind of crappy situation for SG White to find themselves in, because
sort of whittle him down through his cooldowns. It can be very scary for Kappa. He has a lot of cooldowns to rotate through. Of course, he has a Save by the Light proc, he has Bubble, he has his Wings, his Execution Sentence, his Trinket. He's going to have to make sure that he doesn't overlap them. If they get overlapped, he can get overwhelmed very, very quickly. Of course, we saw such a close game last game with these two compositions. I believe Paz was kiting around 10% for quite some time, but it looks like immediately Helio is going to be hodged up into a Fury. Decides to just trinket that. There was a little bit of an overlap, so I guess he decided that was an easy trinket for him. Going to be throwing out that Blessing of Sacrifice onto Nuts right now. Kappa also taking a lot of damage. Going to be running away. He actually gets stranged on a Seal War Mastery coming out from him. Save of the Light proccing as well. So Kappa already using his Avenging Wrath and taking full advantage of that Save by the Light proc, but he's going to be A-okay for the time being.
Yeah, and he didn't have to use his Execution Sentence there either, as well as any of his other cooldowns, so that does give him a little bit of an edge in this matchup. Now Helio caught into this full Fist of Justice could spell trouble for Nuts or for Helio. It looks like they're actually going hard onto Helio right now. He is going to end up having to use his Avenging Wrath and go ahead and keep those heals going. I believe he actually had it active already as soon as I said that. Kappa did have to use a Blessing of Protection on himself, which does mean that there's this short period of time now where he has that Forbearance active, and it looks like Party of Models is going to try and punish him for that. He's got a few seconds left on that Forbearance, but it looks like SG White was actually able to peel for him pretty well there. And now Zevs, with his second Dark Soul active, he's going to be looking to make something happen. Helio now caught in that Fist of Justice, has no Trinket available. He might have to use his Bubble here with that stun coming out as well. The Execution Sentence lands onto him, and the Save by the Light proccing as well. Now they're just trying to turn it back around onto Kappa. Kappa once again caught in that Strangulate, does have his Bubble available should he decide to use it, and he's going to have to.
Yep, that was a Save by the Light proc as well, so that's what I was talking about, a little bit of a cooldown overlap there. He still has a Stone form available for the next Strangulate. He has a Hand of Protection as well. Helio, though, taking a lot of damage. Balance actually deciding to just use that Storm, Earth, and Fire image onto Helio. So the image is on Helio as well as Zev's obviously dotting him up, and Kappa's hodging him on cooldown as well. So that's Helio's taking a lot of pressure from that. Balance doing the best he can to peel Nuts and Paz, who are just relentlessly training down Kappa. Kappa actually gets away completely with that Gateway, just spamming the heals on himself, actually able to top himself off in a very good position right now. Paz finally able to reconnect the full hodge though, going out onto Kappa. He has no way to break that. Luckily for him though, he still has his Avenging Wrath if he needs it. Unlucky though, his mana is down to around 20% HP, very high pressure situation. Helio down to around 20% HP. He still has Bubble, he still has his Trinket if he needs it. He's going to have to make sure that he doesn't get taken down without using it. He does pop that Divine Protection, and now because of that he's going to be able to spam out some heals and be okay. He still has his Trinket as well, but no Avenging Wrath for quite some time.
Yeah, and he actually used both his Divine Protection and his Divine Shield there. So Helio could be in some trouble should he need to pump out a whole bunch of healing. If they're able to put a bunch of damage into him, it doesn't really matter that much if he has his Trinket available, if the damage is just super high. But Kappa down at 6% mana, just trying his best to keep his team alive, completely running on fumes right now, has no cooldowns left at all either. Could be in a lot of trouble here. Balance gets put into stun, immediately gets out of that as well. I believe he uses Trinket there. Pause still at about half health. They're just trying to keep as much pressure going as possible, but I don't know that SG White really has much time left in this. Kappa has 2,000 mana. He's just not really able to be pumping out heals at this point. 1%, just got nothing left. Uses that Word of Glory, the Holy Light. That's about it. They need to make something happen right here, right now. Paw's getting very low. Helio getting very low as well. SG White really needs this to happen. Zevs is getting super low. He does have his Dark Regen active. He's going to go ahead and gate out of there. Helio caught into the stun. He has his trinket available. He's going to be able to trinket out of that. But he
gets locked out, though, into the Hodge and taken down. SG White in kind of a good position right now, taking down the Paladin. Obviously, they're in a good position. Looks like they actually are going to win this game. Kappa surviving for so long with just 1% mana, spamming out his most efficient heals. Zevs, though, still a little bit low. They're not completely out of the woods yet. Pause, though, down to around 5% HP. Even if Zevs goes down, they're going to be able to close out the game. And SG White running a very unconventional comp in such a remarkably close game, able to take down a party of models despite Jeff not being here. And yeah, taking the series 3-2 and moving on.
Yeah, wow, and you really have to hand it to him. Like that was a very, very bad situation for